Paul McCartney is one of the world's greatest musicians, singers, and composers, best known as a member of the legendary band The Beatles. He was born on June 18, 1942 in Liverpool, England, and his full name is James Paul McCartney. The greatest sadness in life, Paul McCartney, one of the greatest musical artists of all time, is not only famous for his musical talent, but also for the deep pain in his personal life. One of his greatest sorrows was the loss of his first wife, Linda McCartney, in 1998. Linda, a talented photographer, animal rights activist, and musician, was not only Paul's life partner, but also his trusted partner in music and life. Linda passed away on April 17, 1998 from breast cancer after a long battle with the disease. Paul has said that the loss was a huge shock to him, changing his life completely. Linda was not only my wife, but also my best friend in every aspect of my life, he said. The pain of losing Linda pushed Paul into a state of depression for many years. He had to seek comfort and motivation through music, family, and beautiful memories of his late wife. Before that, Paul also experienced the pain of losing his mother, Mary McCartney, when he was only 14 years old. His mother died of breast cancer, leaving a big void in his life. This loss not only affected Paul's childhood, but also became the inspiration for the song Let It Be, in which he talks about a dream of seeing his mother again. Paul used music as a way to cope with the pain, and this helped him overcome the great loss in his life. Paul McCartney's musical career began when he joined the Quarrymen in 1957, the band that would become the Beatles. Together with John Lennon, Paul quickly became one of the band's best musicians and singers. In 1960, the Beatles were officially formed and became an icon of world music. Paul was not only a member of the Beatles, but also one of the main songwriters, along with John Lennon. The combination of these two talents created a series of legendary songs such as Hey Jude, Let It Be, Yesterday, and Penny Lane. Paul's compositions were often lyrical, romantic, and emotional, creating a balance with John Lennon's revolutionary songs. After the Beatles disbanded in 1970, Paul continued his solo career and formed the band Wings with Linda. Wings achieved great success with songs such as Band on the Run, Live and Let Die, and Jet. In addition, Paul also tried his hand at classical music, electronic music, and writing music for films. Paul is not only a singer and songwriter, but also a music producer, activist, and writer. He has collaborated with many famous artists, from Michael Jackson to Stevie Wonder, and left a deep mark on many musical genres. Paul McCartney is one of the most successful musical artists in history, with incredible achievements both in his personal career and with the Beatles. Member of the legendary band, the Beatles have sold over 600 million records worldwide, becoming the best-selling band of all time. Songwriting. Paul has written or co-written more than 70 songs that have charted on the Billboard Hot 100. Accolades. He won numerous music awards with the Beatles, including 10 Grammys, an Oscar, and many others. Successful solo career. After the Beatles disbanded, Paul continued to achieve great success with albums such as McCartney, Ram, and Band on the Run. Wings. Wings has won numerous music awards and has hit songs such as Band on the Run and Silly Love Songs. Classical achievements. Paul has also tried his hand at classical music, with works such as Liverpool Oratorio and Ecce Cor Meum, which received high praise from critics. Knighthood of the United Kingdom. In 1997, Paul was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II for his services to music and culture. Guinness World Records. Paul holds several Guinness World Records, including the title of Most Successful Musician of All Time. 18 Grammy Awards, including his career with the Beatles and solo projects. Polar Music Prize, one of the world's most prestigious music awards, awarded in 1992. Paul McCartney has been married 3 times, each relationship leaving an important mark on his life. Linda was Paul's first wife and the love of his life. They met in 1967 and married 2 years later. Linda was always by Paul's side, not only in life but also in his musical career. She joined the band Wings with him, becoming his trusted collaborator and companion. Their marriage lasted nearly 30 years, until Linda died of breast cancer in 1998. After Linda's death, Paul met Heather Mills, a former model and socialite. The couple married in 2002, but the marriage quickly became tumultuous. They eventually divorced in 2008 after a lengthy legal battle. In 2011, Paul remarried to Nancy Shevell, an American businesswoman. This marriage brought Paul stability and happiness in his later years. Nancy accompanied him to events and supported him in his music career. Paul McCartney has a total of 5 children from his 3 marriages: Heather, Mary, Stella, James, and Beatrice. Each of his children has a distinct McCartney family legacy, from their artistic talents to their independent careers. Heather, born in 1962, is Linda McCartney's daughter from a previous marriage. However, upon marrying Linda, Paul officially adopted Heather and treated her as his own daughter. Heather grew up in an artistic environment, but chose her own career path that had little to do with music. She became a successful ceramic artist and designer, with her work exhibited in many major galleries around the world. Although not Paul's biological child, Heather has always expressed gratitude for his love and support. Mary, born in 1969, is Paul and Linda's first biological daughter. She is a famous photographer, following in her mother's footsteps in the visual arts. Mary has shot many outstanding portraits for leading magazines and worked on major advertising projects. Outside of her career, Mary is a devoted family woman and mother of 4, making Paul a proud grandfather. Paul has said that Mary is one of his greatest inspirations, especially as she continues her mother's artistic legacy. Stella, born in 1971, is a world-renowned fashion designer. She is known for her eco-friendly designs and veganism, reflecting the spirit of animal and environmental protection that she inherited from her parents. Stella has founded her own fashion brand and collaborated with many major brands, becoming one of the most respected designers in the fashion industry. Paul often boasts about Stella's success, especially her efforts to change the approach to sustainable fashion. James, born in 1977, is the only son of Paul and Linda. Despite the immense pressure of being the son of a music legend, James has chosen to pursue his own musical career. He has released several albums and EPs, with his musical style influenced by both his father and mother. Although not as famous as Paul, James has made a name for himself in the music industry. Paul has always supported James and often speaks of him with pride, considering him an important part of the family's musical legacy. Beatrice, born in 2003, is Paul's youngest daughter with his second wife, Heather Mills. As a teenager, Beatrice lived a relatively private life, protected from the media spotlight. Paul has always tried to give her a normal childhood, far from the pressures her siblings experienced. Paul has often said that middle-aged fatherhood has given him a new perspective on life and family love. Family has always been Paul McCartney's greatest source of support, especially when he faced great pain. When Linda passed away in 1998, his children played a key role in helping him through the most difficult period of his life. Mary once said, "Dad was a strong man, but the loss of his mother devastated him. We knew that the most important thing was to keep the family together." Stella, who often cites Linda as a role model, also shared that her father used music to cope with his grief. "Music was my father's way of expressing himself. He never stopped creating, even when life brought the most difficult challenges," Stella said. Paul's son James expressed gratitude to his father for teaching him how to cope with pain. "My father always said that no matter how difficult life gets, you have to keep going. He lived up to those teachings, and that makes me very proud," James shared. Nancy Shevell, Paul's current wife, also played a key role in helping him find balance and happiness after his past trauma. "Nancy was the one who brought peace and joy to my father. She didn't replace my mother, but she helped my father look to the future," Stella said of her father's relationship with Nancy. Paul McCartney's career is an extraordinary story, not only that of an artist, but also that of a man who never stopped innovating and innovating. Paul began his musical career when he joined the Quarrymen, the predecessor band to the Beatles, in 1957. With John Lennon, George Harrison, and later Ringo Starr, Paul created a band that would change the entire modern music scene. Songs like Yesterday, Hey Jude, and Let It Be not only became timeless songs, but also established Paul as a genius songwriter. After the Beatles broke up in 1970, Paul continued his solo career with his debut album, McCartney. He soon formed the band Wings with Linda and achieved great success with albums like Band on the Run and Venus and Mars. This period saw Paul explore a wide range of musical genres, from pop, rock, to classical. Paul continued to release solo albums and collaborate with many famous artists such as Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder. He also tried his hand at classical music, composing works such as Liverpool Oratorio and Standing Stone.